Well, it's been a dark and stormy week in my sinuses this last week. I don't know what hit us. It was a domino effect. It started with William, and then it went to Sam, and then it went to my daughter, and I was about 24 hours after her. And I don't remember most of last week. Had I done a podcast last week, you all would have questioned my sanity. I questioned my sanity that I even considered it. It would have been, hello, we're coming to you from Plague Headquarters. It's very dark and I Nobody wanted to watch that. Anyway, we're going to give it the old college try today and let you know what I've been up to, which isn't a whole lot. But here we go. Mama Snark behind the scenes. When I am sick, I don't like to use my eyeballs at all. I am very much a hunker down in bed, close my eyes, put my pillow, I have a little pillow speaker, and I listen to my books. So I got a lot of books read while I was sick. I got very little knitting done, and that's really okay. So I finished 4 books since we've last talked, and I want to go over them with you because I think some of them were pretty good and you might enjoy reading them. So I think I told you on the previous podcast that I had started A Happier Life by Kristy, Woodson, Harvey, and I have to say that book was sweeter than sweet tea, you know what I mean? It's like everybody had a happy ending, and it was just the plot you expect to see on Lifetime, and it was darling. It was perfect for what I needed. I don't want to make it seem like it was stupid. It was just one of those fluffy, light books that we classify as chick lit for a reason. So I'd give that a solid B-. But in contrast, sorry, tuberculosis break there. I read the second book by Costanza Casati, who is an expert in mythology. And this book is called Babylonia. It takes place 800 BC-ish in Assyria, Babylon. Very cool story of a woman's rise to power during that time. Very well written, gripping. I loved every minute of that book. Then, my nose is running. I am so sorry. Forgive me. It's disgusting. I read The Queens of Crime by Marie Benedict. This has been previewed. It just was released. I grabbed it as soon as it came out. Marie Benedict wrote a book a couple of years ago called The Kristy Affair, which talks about that week and a half or so where Agatha Christie disappeared and nobody knew what happened. And she never told anyone, and it was very cool. I liked that book. This book, The Queens of Crime, also has Agatha Christie in it as a character, Dorothy Sayers, and 3 other of the women of the time period who were known as the Queens of Crime, who wrote The Scarlet Pimpernel, those kinds of books and detectives and stuff. Forgive me, the other women are not familiar to me, so I can't just rattle their names off. Hold on, I'm going to rattle their names off. Nio Marsh, who is a New Zealand author, Marjorie Allingham, and Baroness Emma Orczy, who wrote The Scarlet Pimpernel. So those are the 3 sub-characters in this book where Agatha Christie and Dorothy Sayers are the primary. In fact, it's in the words of Dorothy Sayers. First person, Dorothy Sayers. Was it good? Yeah. Was it a great mystery? No. Did it entertain me? Absolutely. Solid B on that one. I picked up a book it's an older book from 2016 called The One by John Mars. I did not do my research on this book. Speculative fiction is a category I really enjoy. You know, when somebody takes our world and then creates one aspect of our world that's extremely different. Well, in this world, a scientist had discovered that doing a DNA test and matching a certain gene with people would show you who your perfect match was, and you'd have this experience. Well, you can imagine all the various ways this could go wrong, and the book goes into that. So I will give you this warning. It's a little dark in places. Like, if you're okay with serial killers and that kind of thing, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, actually, I really enjoyed it, but I did something that is a tip that I use when a book is getting too tense. So there's something about listening to a book, and as I've said, I do most of my reading via listening because I'm lazy. And there's something about listening to a book that when you're in a tense scene, it's just so much more in your face than if you were reading it with your eyeballs. I don't know what it is. This is closer to my brain than this. I don't know. So I got to the last 15% of this book yesterday, and it was very tense, and there were all these amazing things happening at the same time. And so I had to take it off audio and read the last 5 chapters because I was just too freaked out. I enjoyed it though. I would give this a solid B+, A-. Apparently Netflix is making a thing about it, so that'll be coming around here soon. I really enjoyed that book. It was good. And now I am knee-deep in The Moonflower Murders by one of my current favorite authors, Anthony Horowitz. This is the second in the installment of Susan Ryland, who is one of those British people who somehow finds herself a detective, even though she has no experience being a detective. She's an editor, a book editor. And anyway, she's solving murders. So this one is really cool. I have to tell you, I was a little put off because I think it's like 650 pages long. It's a big book. I love big books, but sometimes it just feels like you're biting off a lot. Well, what this is incredible because it's 2 books in one. So you have the outside story of this murder that Susan Ryland has come to solve. And then in the inside, you have a book that one of the authors she was the editor for wrote, which supposedly gives you the clue as to the other murder. Very meta, very cool. And as always, Anthony Horowitz is a delight. He masters dialogue like nobody else. I mean, he writes for television. The dude knows what he's doing. Anyway, great book. The 3rd book of the series comes out later this year. I've already pre-ordered it because yay. And I also pre-ordered the new Horowitz and Hawthorne and Horowitz novel of the series I talked about before that comes out later this month too. I did a lot of pre-ordering on Audible because I'm going to cancel my Audible membership. I had credits, so I bought books that are going to be released earlier. But that's a whole nother discussion. So I had talked about maybe introducing you to some of my favorite audiobook readers. And I'm just going to drop in a few here and there because I do have favorites. I've been solidly listening to audiobooks probably for the last 13 years as part of my daily thing. And so I've come across some favorites. There are actors who do one-offs or a few books that have been really, really tickled me beyond belief. And I'm going to start there. So a couple of years ago, as you know, we were introduced to the darling Dan Stevens, who played Matthew Crawley in Downton Abbey. And everybody thought he was just adorable, and he was and is. He then went on to play the Beast in Disney's live-action Beauty and the Beast. Once again, I fell madly in love with him. And so it was about that time that I got a wild hair and I went on Audible and I typed in Dan Stevens and I saw the various novels that he had read. And I have to tell you, I didn't know anything about those books. I just bought them and listened to them, and he's fantastic. So Dan Stevens is a great reader of audiobooks. You have the opportunity. He has more in his catalog than, say, some of the other important actors that I'm going to discuss. I remember, I think it was either last summer, it was the summer before, the summer of 2023. I had a very specific memory of something that happened that summer. I was resting in the afternoon. It had been a hot day. The fan was on, and I was closing my eyes, resting, as old ladies do in the afternoon. And I was listening to Tom Lake by Ann Patchett, read by Meryl Streep. And I remember lying there and thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I am having the perfect experience right now. I am cozy, I am cool, I am resting, and I'm listening to this brilliant woman read this book. It was incredible. So, Tom Lake is a book about the play Our Town. And if you don't know the play, you might want to review that before you read the book, but fantastic. I loved it. It was incredible. Another book by Ann Patchett. She gets good readers. Of course, she's a fantastic author. That could be why. Her book, The Dutch House, was read by Tom Hanks, and that was really fun. He, of course, is as delightful as you would imagine, and he has also written his own book, which I have not read, but I intend to. It's something like the making of a major motion picture or something like that. Anyway, he wrote it. I think my stepmom read it. I don't know. Well, that's Wicked Stepmother to those of you who follow me on General Hospital Snark. We call my stepmom Wicked. She calls me Wicked. I call her Wicked. It's a beautiful relationship. And we're both readers, so we talk about books a lot. I mentioned this book already, The Life Impossible by Matt Haig, read by Joanna Lumley of Absolutely Fabulous fame. This woman is one of my favorite people on the planet. And if you don't know the old show Absolutely Fabulous with Joanna Lumley and series not talking. If you have not watched Absolutely Fabulous with Jennifer Saunders and Joanna Lumley, well, it's just the most over-the-top fun you'll ever have in your life, ever. Also, a lot of champagne and drugs. So fun. That really makes me sound like a terrible person. Oh, I probably am a terrible person. I don't know. A very fun book. And this was information I put together later. So several years ago, I read this very sweet book called The Secret Life of Flora Lee by Patty Callahan Henry. And this book is just, it's a lovely, historical fiction / chick lit / romance / really well done. But guess who reads the novel? Guess who reads the audiobook? Cynthia Erivo, a.k.a. Elphaba, a.k.a. She Blew My Mind. I mean, it was so beautifully done. She's got quite a few books in her catalog, and I would imagine she's not going to be doing a whole lot more, considering she's kind of blowing up everywhere and is going to be one of the major stars moving forward. But catch her, because that was a beautiful book and a fantastic narration. So those are my one-off audiobook narrators that I've loved. I'm going to continue this series if you're interested. If you have recommendations of people you enjoy listening to, let me know. I think next time I'm going to go over some of my favorite British audiobook readers, and then I have favorite American audiobook readers, both male and female, and in all various genres, because these are some incredibly talented people, and I want to give them a shout out. Well, as we discussed earlier, the creativity scale kind of hit rock bottom this week. I finished the pairs that I told you I would. I finished the pink pair, which I haven't put on yet. I think actually these are going in the mail to someone. And I finished the Valentine's pair. These turned out so cute. I finished them Monday night. And Tuesday is when I was struck down with my plague. So I was without knitting at all. And when I don't feel well, I need something. What I really needed was a sock I'd started the week before that I could just knit without thinking about it. And I hadn't done that. So we had a couple of false starts. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, there was no knitting. There was no anything. There was barely breathing and living. But about Thursday night, I started to resurrect a little bit. And I thought, I kind of think I'll knit. And I picked up a sock that I had started prior to getting ill. And I tried to do some color work, and it did not turn out well. But this is what we have so far. I'm going to finish the rest of the sock in this sort of tweedy color, and then I'll do the toe in the green. But these are birthday socks for someone. Shh, don't tell. And then I started another pair, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. This is a yarn I've never used before. Knit Picks Chroma. It's a yarn that fades automatically, and you can see the fade happening. Okay, so you think, oh, that's cool, but it's fuzzy. Can you see? It's kind of fuzzy, the yarn, and I don't know. I don't know if I like this or not. I won't know until I'm done with the whole sock, which will probably be tonight, but we'll see. Let me know how you think about this. Would you wear this? I don't know. It's cool, but is it? I don't know. The creativity thing is just gone. And then, of course, last Friday, which is when we filmed the General Hospital Snark podcast, David was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, which was exactly what I said to him. No. Excuse me. I have choir tonight. I have a feeling I'm going to be sitting in the back with a mask on, looking at the music and just listening, because there is no way I'll be singing tonight unless they decide to shift me to the bass section, and even then that could be really bad. So anyway, that's where I am with all of that. Hopefully my IQ starts to come back here in the next couple of days. There's something about being sick that just kind of clears the cache permanently. And then you have to go back and go, wait, what was I doing? That's where I am right now. Although I did manage to cook dinner last night. After a week of being flat on my back, it felt good to get up and get going. Let's talk about being sick, because my guess is if you haven't been sick or you're not sick now, you're going to get sick. And what we tend to do, and by we, I mean those of us who are responsible individuals who feel an obligation to take care of those around us. Good girls. It's really hard to let go and let somebody else do something. Now, granted, I know some of you probably live by yourself and you don't have someone else to take care of you, and I'm sorry for that. But it's very hard for me to lie down and say, I can't do the things you're expecting me to do. It's a very hard thing for me. I don't know why. I guess it's because of programming, trauma programming, right? Isn't that what we say? It was all trauma. No, the truth is that I do run the program of being the good girl, the girl who always does the right thing, who always shows up, who picks up the slack for other people. And, I don't know if that served me all that well in my life, but I doubt I'm going to make any significant changes. So lying down for a week and not doing anything kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And it brought me to a memory that I want to share. After the birth of my fourth child in 1992, I was gifted with a bosom that defied gravity and was probably close to the size of the Titanic. Big boobs. And I decided that as a treat, I would have a breast reduction surgery done, which ended up being one of the greatest things I've ever done. They say that of all the plastic surgeries, breast reduction is the one with the highest excitement rate. What's the rate? Approval rating? I don't know. But anyway, we minimized the breasts. And as I was recovering, because it was a major surgery, lots of stitches, lots of whatnots and bandages and things. I remember I was lying on the couch in our TV room, and I had young kids at this time. I think it was a year after I'd had the baby. So I was done nursing and all this kind of stuff. But I remember I was lying there on the couch, kind of trying to watch TV and all this, and I could, out of the corner of my eye, I could see my closet. The closet in that room. And I became obsessed with how disorganized this closet was. And it would, lying there, taking my pain meds, probably half out of my mind, looking at this closet and obsessing about all the things I wanted to do and throw away and organize. And anyway, I had a similar experience this last week because due to various technological kerfuffles, one of our TVs died. We did a big TV rearrangement. I took the TV completely out of my bedroom. And of course, that left a big blank space with a lot of dust and crap, which I had to look at for 3 days. That alone was going to put me down, just obsessing about all that. And so finally yesterday, I had the strength and the wherewithal to find a dust cloth and some pledge, and I was able to clean that up. I slept much better last night because of that. But that's what sickness does to your brain. I mean, you don't think right? And we shouldn't be expected to. So I guess the point of all this, if we're going to throw this in the compassion bin, is that we need to be really compassionate towards ourselves and give ourselves some grace. You know, I had to push back on some things last week and say, I can't do it. And that's hard for me. And I'm guessing for some of you, that's hard too. And it's hard when your daughter sticks her head in, who is as sick as you are, and says, do you need anything, Mom? And you're like, no, I think I'm okay. That's rough. So if you get sick, stay home. Don't spread it around. Everyone and their grandmother is going to get this. We don't need to be part of the joy. Rest, sleep, do the things that bring you comfort and that make you feel cared for. Fluffy pillows, a heating pad if you need it, your favorite juice, a new box of Kleenex, for heaven's sakes. Do yourself, take care of yourself. Get yourself set up, get your shows, get your books, get your whatever you need, and take care of yourselves. I think so often, especially when we're not at our best, and it doesn't even mean we have to be sick to not be at our best, right? We can have bad days. My younger daughter called me yesterday. She had a bad day. She was crying, telling me about all the horrible, mean things that happened to her, and they were mean. People in her office are mean to her. And then this morning I get a text. She goes, yeah, well, I guess it was that time of the month. Yeah, so whatever the time of the month it is for you, for whatever thing, give yourself some grace, right? Life is not meant to be homeostatic. It's meant to have ups and downs so we can recognize shifts in our lives, right? Anyway, I hope you are well. And if you're not well, I hope you get well. And if you're healthy, stay healthy. You know, do the things. Wash your hands. Wear a mask if you go out. You know, those things that are smart and would do us all good. Anyway, from Plague Headquarters, I have to say, I think things are turning around. I think we're looking up. I think spring is coming. And, oh, I had a birthday too. Yeah, I'm older now. I'm 69. It's a great birthday. Anyway, thanks everyone. Hey, comment, like, send me an email if you want to chat about something. If you want me to talk about something, I will do it. Just text me. Don't text me. Just email me. My email's in the description, as well as all of the books I mentioned and the names of the audiobook narrators. You don't have to do any homework. I'm going to do all your homework for you. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being patient as we move through the plague of 2025. And we'll see you next week.